all the same.
Tamor McIntyre, known for his stage name TayK47, sat quietly in the courtroom as his case was awaiting to be called up. McIntyre, already convicted of murder in Tarrant County and sentenced to 55 years in prison, has been awaiting trial in the April 2017 capital murder of Mark Anthony Saldivar.
Rappers often gain fame for their ties to the criminal world, but TayK has become one of the most infamous, involved in murder, robbery, and resisting arrest. Now, it seems his past is catching up to him. Yet, is this truly the end? To understand how things reached this point, we need to examine TayK's life and the path that led to his downfall. TayK is preparing for a second murder trial, officially scheduled for February 10, 2025, already serving a 55-year sentence for his role in a 2016 murder in Mansfield, Texas. His legal troubles are far from over. This upcoming trial focuses on the 2017 shooting death of Mark Anthony Saldivar in San Antonio. On April 23, 2017, Saldivar was fatally shot outside a Chick-fil-A during a robbery orchestrated by TayK and his accomplices. According to court documents revealed on November 22, TayK now faces capital murder charges for this incident. Known for his hit song, The Race, TayK is now confronted with the serious consequences of his actions. This trial represents a turning point in his life, as the stakes are higher than ever, with his future hanging by a thread. The case also highlights the growing legal challenges overshadowing what was once a promising career. The music video for The Race plays a key role in this case, as its fame could influence the trial. TayK's attorney stated that an expanded jury pool is necessary because of the video's notoriety and its potential to shape opinions. To ensure fairness, 200 potential jurors will be summoned on February 7, 2025, with the trial set to begin. Born Tamor McIntyre, TayK faces capital murder charges connected to Saldivar's death. If convicted, he could receive life imprisonment without parole, a grim prospect that underscores the severity of his situation. Earlier this year, prosecutors offered him a plea deal to avoid a life sentence, but TayK, now 24, rejected it, opting to take his chances at trial. This decision has set the stage for a critical moment in his troubled life. TayK's rise to fame began in 2014 as part of the rap group Daytona Boys alongside Pimpez and Santana Sage. Despite releasing tracks like Drift, the group struggled to gain traction. TayK's solo career, however, began to show promise in 2015 with songs like Biff Zanin and Sly Cooper, which gained attention in Arlington's rap scene. His breakout moment came in 2016 with Megaman, a SoundCloud release that showcased his raw talent. However, his newfound success was overshadowed by his arrest on capital murder charges, an event that would shape his legacy. The viral success of The Race, recorded while he was fleeing the law, cemented his place in hip-hop history, but for reasons far removed from his music.
The jury find the defendant, Tamor McIntyre, guilty of the lesser-included offense of murder.
TayK remained undeterred by his legal troubles, continuing to release music even while behind bars or on the run. His most viral hit, The Race, became a cultural phenomenon during his time evading authorities in New Jersey. The song, which detailed his life on the run, struck a chord with listeners, amplifying his notoriety. Its success was heightened by the audacity of its creation, with TayK's real-life circumstances infusing it with rebellious energy, making it an anthem for his fans. Even from prison, TayK's influence on the music world persisted. While incarcerated, he released the mixtape Santana World, demonstrating his creative drive despite his isolation. A remix of The Race featuring 21 Savage and Young Nudy further elevated the track, earning it a platinum certification from the RIA in January 2018. His continued musical output and the buzz around his legal battles added to his mystique, transforming him into a legend in the making. TayK's undeniable talent caught the attention of major industry players, securing him a record deal with 88 Classic and RCA Records. His collaboration with No Jumper on Hard further cemented his place in the rap scene. In 2018, he was even shortlisted for the prestigious XXL. Despite his turbulent personal life and growing legal troubles, Tay-K's charisma and music made him one of the most talked about figures in hip-hop, proving that his influence could not be easily dismissed. Tay-K's life, however, has been shadowed by a series of dark and violent events. One of the most pivotal incidents occurred at a very young age. On New Year's Day 2016, a tragic shooting forever altered the course of his life. After performing at a New Year's Eve event in Denton, Texas, Tay-K, along with Eric Santana Sage Johnson, a fellow member of the Daytona Boys, became embroiled in a violent confrontation between two groups of partygoers. During the altercation, Santana Sage fatally shot Sarah Muchleckner, a University of North Texas student, in a tragedy that escalated from a heated argument. Although Tay-K was not the one who fired the fatal shot, his association with the crime entangled him in a web of violence and criminal activity that would soon define his life. This incident marked the beginning of a series of violent events, leading to his eventual arrest and the charges that have solidified his infamous reputation in the public eye.
Series of Twitter posts that they say led them to Johnson, all the way from this New Year's Eve party that they say he attended.
The circumstances surrounding the New Year's Day 2016 shooting were complex and contentious, with witnesses offering conflicting accounts of what led to the tragic event. Allegations of verbal and sexual mistreatment surfaced, further complicating the case, despite maintaining his innocence. Eric Santana Sage Johnson, the individual responsible for the fatal shooting, was ultimately convicted of murder. He received a 44-year prison sentence for his actions. The jury declared, "We find the defendant, Eric Jamal Johnson, guilty of the offense of murder." While Tay-K was not charged in connection with Sarah Muchleckner's death, the incident left a significant impact on his life, influencing public perception and setting the stage for his mounting legal troubles. The turning point in Tay-K's life came with a crime that solidified his reputation in the criminal world. Between July 2016 and 2019, Tay-K became involved in a home invasion in Mansfield, Texas, a crime that would haunt him for years. Alongside 6 others, including Megan Holt and Ariana Barrett, Tay-K was charged with capital murder in connection with the death of Ethan Walker during a botched robbery. The details of the incident were harrowing. Tay-K and his accomplices plotted to rob 17-year-old Zachary Beloit, using a scheme involving seduction to gain access to his home. Armed with firearms, the group entered Belotti's residence, leading to a violent confrontation that resulted in Ethan Walker's death and injuries to others. Tay-K's role was further confirmed during an interrogation, where he admitted his involvement, adding weight to the case against him. Tay-K's legal team attempted to downplay his involvement, arguing that he was unarmed and unaware that the robbery would turn violent, despite initial hopes that he might be tried as a juvenile. The court ultimately decided to try him as an adult, a decision that would have dire consequences for his future. His accomplices received sentences ranging from 20 years to life, with some agreeing to testify against him in exchange for reduced sentences. During his trial, Tay-K pleaded guilty to 2 counts of aggravated robbery but was convicted of murder and an additional count of aggravated robbery. The prosecution presented evidence, including his viral hit "The Race," recorded while he was on the run. The song, detailing his life evading authorities, became a focal point of the trial, symbolizing his disregard for the law. It bolstered the prosecution's case, portraying Tay-K as acting with intent and malice, ultimately leading to his conviction.
The jury find the defendant, Eric Jamal Johnson, guilty of the offense of murder.
In January 2017, while awaiting legal proceedings, Tay-K was placed under house arrest. However, confinement didn't sit well with him. Just before his court appearances, Tay-K and his friend Giant Bell decided to remove their ankle monitors and flee. Their escape took them to San Antonio, Texas. As they sought to evade capture, TayK's defiance was evident on social media, where he voiced his frustration with being confined and his determination to avoid being caught. In one notable Twitter post, he openly expressed his dissatisfaction with house arrest and hinted at his intent to stay on the run. Eventually, TayK's flight led him to Elizabeth, New Jersey, where he recorded his breakout hit, The Race. The song vividly chronicled his escape from authorities, capturing his rebellious spirit with bold lines like, "I was trying to beat a case, but I ain't beat that case." Expletive, "I did the race." While the track gained him widespread attention and skyrocketed his notoriety, it also became a crucial factor in his eventual capture. The song's audacious lyrics, which detailed his escape, provided law enforcement with clues that helped track him down.
The song called The Race. I'm the TayK, and he's running around, he's showing they got my face on this, whatever. Poke fun at the whole process of people actually.
TayK was found guilty, but his music video for The Race sparked a cultural phenomenon. The hashtag #FreeTayK spread rapidly across social media, turning the song into a viral sensation. It debuted on the US Billboard Hot 100 and eventually peaked at number 4, driven by its raw energy and the notoriety of TayK's situation. The video itself is a chaotic snapshot of his life on the run, filled with adrenaline-fueled scenes that mirror the urgency of his escape. In the video, TayK defiantly smokes next to his own wanted poster, brandishes firearms in a dimly lit room, and speeds away in a Corvette, symbols of fleeting freedom. At just 1 minute and 45 seconds, the video feels abrupt, as though it was created in the same rush that defined TayK's life at the time. The lyrics of The Race echo this reckless defiance, while the visuals mask a deeper, darker narrative. TayK's intense expressions, his mismatched group of associates, and the juxtaposition of a Nerf gun among real firearms suggest an unsettling blend of bravado and desperation. What initially seems like bold rebellion gradually reveals itself as a cry for survival. When the wanted posters appear in the video, they're not just props, they're grim reminders of the very real legal troubles TayK faced. This blurred line between art and reality creates an unsettling and compelling story, reflecting the chaos of his circumstances. Beyond the visuals, The Race had a profound cultural impact. The hashtag #FreeTayK gained significant traction on Twitter, with prominent artists like Travis Scott, designer, and Meek Mill using their platforms to voice support for the young rapper. This viral campaign amplified TayK's mystique, transforming him from a fugitive into a symbol of rebellion and defiance, even as his legal troubles deepened.
He was on house arrest. He cut off his ankle monitor, fled the jurisdiction, right? And look, this song indicates he thought he was guilty.
Zach Fox also chimed in on TayK's situation, offering his trademark mix of humor and insight. His take added to the widespread conversation, reflecting the fascination and controversy surrounding TayK's story as it continued to captivate audiences beyond the.
My brother here just got locked up on a gun charge, so you feel me? That's why I was like, free Lil Tay, no, you keep a K, but you not TayK. And TayK was popping at the time, so I was like, they probably gonna think I'm talking about TayK.
Rappers like Lil Yachty and Lil Baby jumped on the instrumental of The Race, recording their own freestyles, which only emphasized the track's impact on the rap scene. Even Kodak Black expressed his support for TayK, mentioning that he would be interested in signing him during an Instagram live stream. This movement around The Race turned TayK into a symbol of rebellion, resonating with fans and peers alike, further solidifying his place in rap culture. Despite his legal issues, TayK remained active in his criminal behavior. On April 23, 2017, while on the run, he was allegedly involved in the shooting death of 23-year-old Mark Anthony Saldivar in San Antonio, Texas. Reports suggest that TayK and his accomplice, Jalen Bell, lured Saldivar into a black SUV, pretending to want to buy his photography equipment. However, when Saldivar tried to escape and call for help, TayK allegedly sped up the car, causing Saldivar to jump onto the hood TayK then exited the vehicle and shot Saldivar before fleeing the scene. A month later, on May 25th, TayK was reportedly involved in another violent incident in Arlington, Texas. He allegedly attacked and robbed 65-year-old Oni Skip Pepe, holding a gun to his head and knocking him unconscious. Pepe was later found by a jogger and identified TayK from a photo lineup. TayK's time on the run came to an end on June 30, 2017, when U.S. Marshals caught him in Elizabeth, New Jersey. In an attempt to avoid capture, TayK claimed to have swallowed pills, which led to a hospital visit. However, after doctors confirmed that he had not ingested any drugs, TayK pretended to hear voices, which resulted in a short stay in a psychiatric ward before he was officially arrested. In October 2017, additional capital murder charges were added to his case regarding the shooting of Mark Saldivar, and surveillance footage reportedly confirmed his involvement. After his arrest, TayK's legal troubles only grew. He was held on a $500,000 bail, which was revoked in February 2018 after he was sentenced for his role in a home invasion. In Mansfield, Texas, his charges related to Saldivar's death continued to build, and in November 2019, a grand jury indicted him for this. Further sealed his fate and added to the long list of criminal charges against him. Despite being incarcerated, TayK's time behind bars was far from uneventful. In August 2018, he was discovered with a prohibited mobile phone hidden in his sock during a routine jail search. The phone had been used to conduct an interview, where he boldly claimed that he would be released soon, continuing to fuel the perception of him as a rebellious figure. Unwilling to bow to authority, his behavior in prison only added to his image as a young man determined to continue his defiant path, even in the face of serious legal.
Think about it. You probably would have already seen the world right now if you weren't locked up. Like there's crazy amount of opportunities that be available to you right now.
Yeah. I mean, they still gonna be there. I'm gonna be out there.
If that wasn't enough, there was also an iPad in the picture, adding another layer to the controversy. The discovery of both the mobile phone and the iPad during a routine search only fueled speculation about TayK's defiance and his ability to continue orchestrating his affairs, even from behind bars. The fact that he was able to use the devices to conduct an interview, making bold claims about his imminent release, further solidified his reputation as someone who refused to be contained by the system, even as his legal troubles continued to spiral. His actions behind bars not only irritated prison authorities, but also added to the growing legend of a rapper whose notoriety was fueled by both his musical talent and his refusal to play by the rules.
The management did not ask me to remove the part where he talked about having an iPad. And so then he gets in solitary, all kinds of whatever additional charges because he had an iPad and he's just in jail using the iPad.
The white woman referenced by Tay-K in his tweet was his co-defendant in the 2016 deadly home invasion in Mansfield, Texas. At the time of her trial, she was 19 years old, initially convicted of capital murder and sentenced to 20 years in prison. Her conviction was overturned in August 2019 by the Texas Second Court of Appeals. The court ruled that her conviction had been based on an improper theory of capital murder, and the trial court had made an error by assigning her the legal duty to prevent the robbery. The appeals court acknowledged her history as a victim of sex trafficking and manipulation by her recruiter and pimp. Despite the evidence supporting her victimization, the court did not use this as the basis for overturning her conviction. It recognized that her involvement seemed to be more about duress and manipulation than malicious intent. Her family had reported her sex trafficking situation to the police before the home invasion, and testimonies revealed the physical and emotional abuse she had endured. In a plea agreement, the woman was granted 10 years of probation instead of serving prison time. This decision stirred mixed reactions, with the victim's family expressing anger, especially the victim's mother, who felt that this ruling was unjust. She argued that the woman's situation didn't excuse her involvement in the crime, while the victim's father pointed out that without Tay-K's involvement, the tragic events would never have occurred. Tay-K, who received a 55-year sentence for his role in the crime, expressed frustration with the discrepancy in sentencing, feeling that, like the woman, he should have received a lighter sentence due to his youth and lack of direct involvement in the violence. He used his platform to highlight the disparities and systemic issues within the criminal justice system. Tay-K's music career also faced significant setbacks due to his legal troubles. In May 2018, Spotify removed his music from curated playlists because of its hate content and hateful conduct policy. This decision sparked controversy, with critics arguing that the platform was inconsistently enforcing the policy, selectively targeting certain artists like Tay-K while allowing others with similar pasts to remain on the platform. Public pressure from figures like Kendrick Lamar led Spotify to reconsider its stance, though Tay-K's music, along with R. Kelly's, remained excluded. Tay-K's rise and fall in the music industry serve as a tragic reminder of the consequences of violence and defiance, from his viral hit, The Race, to his eventual conviction and sentencing. His journey reflects a series of choices that ultimately led him to a life behind bars.
The jury deliberated for a little longer than 3 hours today here before deciding on that 55-year sentence.
Situation took another turn when, in 2019, reports surfaced claiming that TayK had been involved in forming a prison gang called the Rugrats, allegedly associated with the Crips. This development raised alarms within the prison system, and authorities acted quickly, placing him back into solitary confinement. After receiving a tip from a warden, the reports detailed the gang's structure, emphasizing loyalty, hierarchy, and conduct rules, all of which showcased TayK's ongoing defiance even despite his isolation. The gang's activities highlighted his refusal to be controlled, reinforcing his rebellious and dangerous image. As his time in prison became increasingly turbulent, TayK's legal journey continued to unfold. In 2019, he was sentenced to 55 years for his involvement in the Mansfield home invasion and murder, but this was far from the end of his legal woes. He still faced multiple charges related to other criminal cases and lawsuits, further complicating his already precarious future. His time behind bars became a mix of defiance, legal setbacks, and disruptive behavior, ultimately keeping his legacy tied not only to his music but also to his ongoing struggle against the justice system. TayK expressed deep frustration with the justice system, stating that if he had been a white child, he might not have faced the same harsh sentence for a crime in which he allegedly played a minor role. He reflected on how his age and mental development were overlooked, noting that at 16, his mind wasn't fully developed. Yet, he was sentenced to 55 years in prison. In contrast, one of his co-defendants, a white girl also 16, was not certified as an adult and received only 10 years of probation without any deal. TayK emphasized the racial disparity in the justice system, highlighting how his white co-defendant received a significantly lighter sentence, with him getting 55 years and another co-defendant, Pimp, receiving 30 years. Despite being behind bars, TayK made persistent efforts to stay in the public eye, leveraging his remaining popularity to maintain a connection with his fans. He continued communicating through social media and personal letters, offering a glimpse into his thoughts and frustrations. Even from his prison cell, TayK was vocal about his discontent, particularly with his management and how the media portrayed him. In November 20, TayK's Twitter account, managed by a family member against the wishes of his official manager, was used to voice grievances about his contract with 88 Classic and RCA Records. He expressed dissatisfaction with how the media had framed him, painting him as misunderstood and taken advantage of by the industry. TayK made it clear that he was determined to expose the truth about his life and character, regardless of the support or lack thereof from his management or label. In a tweet from 2023, TayK reflected on his sentencing and raised concerns about racial disparities within the justice system. He expressed frustration with the severity of his punishment, especially when compared to his white co-defendant. TayK lamented the lack of opportunities for young black men, suggesting that if he were white, he might have received more leniency. His statement highlighted the systemic inequalities he believes contributed to his harsh treatment, giving fans a deeper insight into the personal battles he faced both within the justice system and in